Elio and the Clockmaker's Secret. In the quiet village of Windmere, nestled between whispering woods and a silver-threaded river, lived a boy named Elio. Elio had tousled brown hair, eyes the color of river pebbles, and an endless curiosity that often led him into trouble or adventure. He lived with his grandmother, Mira, who owned a tiny shop full of broken clocks and forgotten music boxes. People called her the Clock Whisperer, for she could fix anything that ticked, chimed, or danced to a tune. Elid loved her stories, especially the ones about the old clock tower that stood, silent and towering, at the center of Windmere. No one had heard it chime in 100 years. It was said the clockmaker vanished the very moment it stopped. Some claimed he had gone mad. Others said he had disappeared into time itself. But the grown-ups never talked much about it, and the children weren't allowed near the tower. Except Elio. Elio wasn't one to follow rules. One misty evening, with a full moon rising and his grandmother asleep in her rocking chair, Elio crept out with only a lantern and his curiosity. The streets were bathed in silver. Wind rustled the leaves like the ticking of 1,000 tiny gears. Elio stood before the ancient tower, its bronze doors covered in ivy. He reached out, expecting them to be locked. They swung open with a creak. Inside, dust danced like spirits. The scent of oil, parchment, and time filled the air. There were stairs, spiraling, endless, old as dreams. He climbed. With each step, he heard faint ticking growing louder. By the time he reached the top, it sounded like a heartbeat. There was a door. It had no handle, only a keyhole shaped like a crescent moon. Elio leaned closer, and the door opened on its own. Inside was a chamber lit by floating orbs of light. Gears floated in the air like fish in water. In the center stood a great clock, round as the moon, with hands frozen at 12. And beneath it, a man. He had silver hair and goggles perched on his head. He looked up and smiled. "I've been waiting," the man said. Elio blinked. "Who are you?" "I'm the clockmaker." "But you vanished." "Not quite," he said, tapping a gear that spun mid-air. "I've been here, keeping time from falling apart." Elio stepped forward, mesmerized. The clockmaker explained, the tower wasn't just a clock. It was a doorway, a keeper of balance, a map of time itself. And it was breaking. "Something is stealing moments," he said. "Stealing time?" Elio echoed. "Yes, seconds vanish. Dreams unravel, days feel shorter." Elio thought of how his birthdays always seemed to sneak up. How some days vanished in a blink. "How do I help?" The clockmaker smiled. "You're brave. And curious. That's enough." He handed Elig a silver key, shaped like a gear with wings. "This will take you into the corridors of time. Will I be safe?" Time is never safe, but it is magical. The gears around them shimmered. Elio turned the key. A door opened in the air full of stars, whispers, and shifting colors. He stepped through. He landed in a forest where the trees grew backwards. Leaves turned into buds, then seeds, then vanished. Time flowed in reverse. He met a girl named Thistle, who spoke in riddles. She told him he was in the realm of yesterday. Time is leaking backward here, she said. Elio saw animals grow younger, birds forget how to fly. He touched a stone and it crumbled into sand, then vanished. He planted his feet, used the key, turned time forward again. The forest sighed, relieved. Thistle gave him a compass made of moonlight. You'll need this, she whispered. Elio traveled on. He visited the land of lost hours, where nap times, daydreams, and wishes ended up. He found a broken sundial that cried real tears. He patched it with laughter. He crossed a river of sand, every grain a second gone by. There he met a crocodile with a pocket watch in its belly. The crocodile tried to eat him. Elio tricked it by turning the time on its watch. It fell asleep, dreaming of being young again. Elio slipped past. At last, he reached the core, the hollow second, a place where time did not exist. He felt weightless, alone, but then he heard ticking. He followed it. It led to a mirror. His reflection stepped out. It was him, but older, wiser, scared. I stopped time once, the reflection said. I wanted to stay in a moment forever, but you can't. Elio replied, No, said the reflection, but you can honor it. They touched hands. The moment froze, then flowed. Elio understood. He turned the silver key one last time. The mirror shattered into 1,000 memories. He tumbled through stars, laughter, and music. He landed back in the clockmaker's tower. The great clock chimed, once, twice, 12 times. It was midnight. The village bells rang for the first time in a century. The clockmaker hugged him. You did it. Elio smiled, dizzy with time. I want to go home. Home waits, said the clockmaker, but time thanks you. He walked down the tower, lantern in hand. Windmere shimmered, windows lit. The world felt brighter. His grandmother was still asleep in her chair. Elio curled beside her. Clocks ticked gently. Outside, the tower stood tall, and now it sang. Each hour, a melody of memory. And Elio never forgot. Time is not to be wasted. It is to be lived tick by tick, dream by dream.